lovelies. Welcome back to another episode of Makeup and Mediumship with me, Sarah Martucci. I'm a psychic medium, certified crystal healer, paranormal investigator, Sasquatch enthusiast, believer in the fairies and unicorns, and UFOs. I don't like the UFO shit, but here we are. Can you guys believe they told us that fucking UFOs are real? And they don't know where they're getting the technology from, and they're not really sure if it's like from Earth or from outer space. I can't handle it, y'all. I can't handle it. I don't know. It just freaks me the fuck out. Anyways, if you're new to makeup and mediumship, this is where I talk about mediumship and I do my makeup. You guys get to do your makeup with me every week when I do the Messages of Hope or the free weekly reading. You guys always comment about my eye makeup, so this is my chance to do it with you and talk about whatever the fuck I want to. But mostly mediumship and makeup. So, hence the name. Welcome. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Today, I'm actually going to do a little bit different. I'm going to do my makeup, but I'm going to do like more of a simple look, like something to go outside with into regular, socialization with people. My eyebrows are super intense today, but I'm super intense, so let's do some motherfucking eyeshadow. I don't even think today I'm going to work with any, brushes either. I don't think I'm going to do any of it. So we're just going to keep it super simple on our eyeshadow today. And I actually want to talk about issues around worthiness. It's actually been coming up a lot in, my readings lately. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about that because I feel like it's really important. Maybe where that stems from, how that is for most people, maybe how you deal with it. All right, so the palette I want to use today is by ColourPop. It's the Wild Nothing palette. I highly recommend getting it. It is absolutely beautiful. It's vegan. If you're into that, look at these colors. So it's kind of like a little desert. I mean, obviously there are little cactuses and stuff in the background, but I mean, just how gorgeous is that? Hello. So we're going to do something fun today. And I'm already going to be a liar, and I'm going to use a brush to help me with my crease. But I'm not going to put any eyeshadow primer down. Again, I just want this to kind of be just a simple look today where I'm going out and I can just live my life at half intensity. I'm going to let my eyebrows do the speaking today. So I'm going to use the brush I almost always do. The Morphe brush has no number on it, but it's kind of floofy. It's really good for getting in your crease, getting that color in there. And I think I'm going to keep it light today. I'm going to have my light eyes today. Let's go with Vagabond. Go with Vagabond in the crease. And let's see where else this takes us. So I've been having a lot of readings lately where people are really fucking struggling. And they're having a hard time figuring out what the fuck the problem is. And guys, I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of it's been stemming back to some worthiness issues. And so a lot of people may be looking for, a good relationship, or they're looking for a good job, or they're just looking to feel better in their life, right? Sometimes life is just fucking hard. But maybe you don't know where the worthiness issues is coming from. And so they're coming to me kind of looking for help, a little bit of guidance. People want to go to the roots and they want to see what the heck's going on. So where does this lead back to? So for some people, it's a rough relationship that they had, a bad breakup. Maybe this was with a sibling, or maybe they were bullied in school. I mean, there's 1,000 different ways that your trauma can show up for you. But guys, I found for the most part, it's almost always going back to mom or dad in some way, shape, or form. Some wild shit. Wild fucking shit. Now, I'm going to take what I'm doing in my crease. I'm going to put it on the lower lash as well. So I found a lot of times when I'm doing tarot card readings, we're trying to go to the root of an issue, and I'm helping somebody to figure it out. I look to the symbology on the card. Is there a female showing up? What way are they facing? For me, whenever I read the tarot, if somebody's facing towards the left, that speaks about moving towards the future. Maybe this talks about like a new person showing up in the scene, or it's new energy. If somebody's facing towards the right, though, it talks about the past. Already knowing this person, something is, coming up from the past for review, or they're looking towards the past in terms of the information that's coming up. I also look on the tarot card whether or not the character that's showing up in the card is a female or a male. Sometimes even that might not be enough, so I'll look towards the element that I'm working with the tarot card too. So usually fire would represent male, fire and air, And it's not across the board. Use your intuition here. But whenever the, images comes up, I look to see, is it male or female? And then two, with the element at play, does this feel like a male energy? A lot of times with wands, it is. a lot of times with wands, it is. Y'all, Ace of Wands is a little phallic, if you ask me. So just saying right there. Also, earth element talks about fertility, but it's usually giving birth in some way. So usually there's a female energy to the earth energy and to the water energy. And this is not hard and true. Leave this open to interpretation. Allow your intuition to come in and to help you. If you're doing a reading for somebody, finding a lot, it's coming up around worthiness. It almost always has to do with mom or dad. So after I suss that out, and I'm asking my intuition, or I'm asking their loved ones and guides that are coming through for help and assistance, I then start to ask some questions. And so if I feel like, for example, this was like a father energy, or there's like a father issue coming up here, I'll ask the person, it feels as though, and depending on what the card, whether it's a negative or a positive card, it feels as though, and I'm just going to go back in with my finger and just kind of go over it a little bit, make sure I'm depositing a little bit more color. My fingers are my best tool. So if it's like a father energy that's coming through, and say maybe it's a more difficult card, maybe it's like the 9 of Swords, and we've got like the serious difficulty. If you know anything about the 9 of Swords, this card really talks about nightmares, your fears coming to fruition, your worst nightmares coming true, like literally having nightmares, having extreme and utter difficulty, and especially in the mental space. And if the character's facing towards the right, I'd be like, hey, have you been having issues with your father? Or is there something here with your father around? Do we have daddy issues? Do we have daddy trauma? Did we watch father always go towards the fear and there's never any optimism in the things that he said? Are we repeating a pattern here that's been passed down to us? I gotta say though, a lot of people, you gotta be ready for that kind of reading. You gotta be ready for that type of reading, because it's not an easy one to face your shit from the past, or to look at your parents if you're not ready as like full humans, especially if we have difficulty there. So just be cognizant of that before you go into a reading of that way, or be ready for that kind of healing and going to the roots of stuff in that way. But if you find that you're doing a reading for somebody and mom and dad issues are coming up, here's some stuff that I've found that I hope is kind of helpful. And anybody watching this today, I hope this helps you too. If you're not a psychic or medium, just looking for some understanding on this. But I find that whenever we have issues with father, we have a big difficulty with putting ourselves out in the world and being seen and heard. When we have issues around mother, we have absolute issues around self-confidence inwardly, like who I am as a person, what's going on inside, who am I? So again, not a hard and fast rule, but that seems to be the trend over and over again as I'm doing these readings. So I think it's interesting. I would add on to that card, do you feel like it's difficult, or do you feel like you're pursuing your dreams? Do you feel comfortable enough being out in the world and really going after what you do want? Or do you feel like the fear always comes in here? And again, what's that relationship look like with your father? If also it's like the 9 of Swords and we got the air element there, also too, was your father mentally and verbally abusive to you? And so there's these things here that the cards can kind of tell us, help us to get to the roots, and also understand what the fuck happened, at the very, very beginning with our parents. You guys, our parents are the first people we looked up to. They're gods to us in a way. They represent God, at least in some way, shape, or form. So, looking up to them, trusting them, loving them, they were the first people that we truly loved, that we genuinely loved, that we loved unconditionally. And so, when things don't go well there's trauma or abuse or sadness or neglect or whatever the issue is, it's really difficult to move forward in life. And shit, if you got both parents, if you got mommy and daddy issues, well, welcome to the fucking club, and welcome to the fucking club. All right, I think I want to do on my lids this super cute color Alcove. It's like a peachy, pinky. It's really cute. It's really cute. I'm gonna do that color right there on my lids, and it's kind of metallic-y. It's shiny. Not like the freaking Spirited though. I love that. Look at Spirited. Woo. So I'm just gonna get some on my finger again. I'm just gonna pat it on to my eyelid. And I like how super light this is today. Again, this is not like overwhelming. I'm not up in people's faces, but got a little sparkle. I'm feeling kind of cute. Again, there's this feeling like when we have issues and pain around, mom or dad, how does this affect our worthiness and the way that we see ourselves? Again, with mother, it feels like it's deep inside. It's deep inside. With father, it's like in terms of the way that I put myself out in the world. Do I feel worthy to be seen and heard by other people? With the mama stuff, just do I feel worthy at all? Do I feel worthy at all? So I just think it's interesting how these issues show up in the cards. How, again, tarot cards are just an extension of us, and it's helping us to understand if you're a visual person like me, tarot cards are perfect because it helps you to kind of make more visual sense of all the intuition that you're feeling inside. So I like to take this color and put it on the bottom lid too, just kind of go over where we smoked out the stuff that's in the crease and cover that whole eyelid. Cover the whole baby. It's been crazy for me to do these readings too, because I have mom and dad trauma and issues there. And I've had to do all my own healing. I've had to go to therapy for a while now, at least since 2011. Getting myself into therapy, taking care of myself, really healing that space. My parents didn't want to show up with me in that way, which was really painful at first. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it was really fucking hard. And I think it's also been a huge part of why it's been difficult for me to feel comfortable getting in front of the camera and doing this type of stuff. I should have been doing this years ago. But here I am, and it's the perfect time for it now. I've done enough work where I've really been able to face myself. And a lot of people don't talk to you guys, or a lot of people don't tell you when you go into therapy. Not only is it about like uncovering issues around mother and father and like really, again, going to the roots of the issue, but also too how we're carrying this or we're reenacting these issues in our own life. That was the more difficult part, where maybe I was repeating a pattern, I was doing the same thing, whatever the issue was, and really facing myself around that too, so that I could really come back home to myself and really start to trust in myself first internally, which gave me the strength to go out into this world and trust that I've got this and that I have something to say, that you guys want to hear what I have to say, that maybe it's finally time for it. Maybe I found my space where people want to hear what I have to say. It's wild to me now. It's wild to me that you guys are digging these, videos, that you guys, really value the words that I put out there. It means everything to me because I did not come from a space like that. My opinion, my intuitions, the things that I noticed and I wanted to talk about weren't wanted or heeded or nurtured. It's been this hell of a struggle. I also find too, guys, I think for a lot of us that do this work, do you also find that a lot of the issues that you have in your own personal life seem to come up in readings that you have with other people? I find that so interesting because it's almost like this pathway of like healing, healed, healer, right? So to show up in that space and be able to turn around and be like, yo, guess what? You got this. And maybe this really, the root of it goes back to not feeling like you're worthy enough to be heard, or whatever the issue is connected with mom or dad, knowing that you have every right to be here, that we need you here, and that you bring some wisdom to the table. And so, especially if it's around your healing, how can you help another? How can you help another to, here's what I think is magic, or at least one of the million things I find magic, is that you can go through a horrific event, trauma, neglect, whatever the fuck the issue is, and somehow still be here, and then turn around and help other people know that they're not alone, everything's going to be okay, and you're going to help them through this difficulty, this period. Give them at least the tools and the steps to take in order to move forward. It's a fucking blessing. It's a blessing that I get to do that. Did I lose my fucking brush? Here we go. And we're back. I found it. All right, so I'm going to go back in with the brush that I use for my crease, and I'm just going to blend everything together. They're like, wow, Sarah, this look is very subdued from what you normally do. Yes, my lovelies, you are right. Good call. But again, I'm just keeping it light today. My light eyes. I actually think I want to go in here and do a little smokiness in the corner, just add a little dimension to my eyes. Let's see, let's do, you know what? I'm digging this terracotta color here, right here. This is called Morningside, so I'm going to do a little bit of that. Smoke out with a little bit of that. All right. And then make sure when you go, just take the brush that you did in your crease and go to the outer edges and just a little tiny circle right in the same space. And then I take it into the crease as well. Again, just a little dimension. Cute. And remember, guys, we can build this up. We don't have to do it all in one step. Yep. Go gentle on your eyes, too. Go gentle with yourself on everything, guys. And especially if you find that you're in the process of doing this work, too. If you're going in and you're taking care of root issues, trauma issues, especially around mom and dad, and you're just trying to heal and to do better in that space, be gentle with yourself. The best thing that you can do during that time. Or if you're sitting with a client that's going through this situation, sit with them and listen to them. Sit with yourself and listen to yourself. A lot of us, we weren't listened to. We weren't heard. We weren't seen. There's a feeling we weren't wanted. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe a parent was hyper-focused and we couldn't get away, or it was never enough and we couldn't. Maybe it was a combination of both. And so we've got to figure out who we are now and what we want and what that trauma means. And again, how we're repeating patterns and bringing that to the table. And how can we break that now? This is not work for the faint of heart, y'all. It's not. And so, again, I just want to remind all of us to be gentle with ourselves, be kind with ourselves, and know that a lot of people are working from a place that's unconscious, where maybe they've had that trauma and they're not even realizing the way that they're acting towards other people. Can I also say that it's a choice, though, too, at a certain point? It's a choice that you make around, am I going to repeat the same pattern and be ugly to people and try to take my power back in that way? Or am I going to choose a different path and not treat people the way that I was treated, because I know how much in pain it made me? Again, being able to take back my power. Here's my feelings on it. And it's not to say that I haven't taken the path of hurting other people. I absolutely have, and I've absolutely done it. So to say that I haven't is a fucking lie, because that's the example I was shown. And when I became conscious of what I was doing, I immediately fucking stopped it. I stopped it, I sat down, and I dealt with myself. So that's important. But I think too, it becomes this choice. Which way do I go? For me, my choice was to be kind and to not repeat once I became conscious. I don't want anybody ever to feel the way that I did. I don't want anybody ever to be in that kind of pain. I don't want anybody ever to feel as though they don't belong here on earth, and their family, in fucking McDonald's. Everybody should belong in McDonald's, at least for those fucking French fries. There's that. I don't want anybody to ever feel like they don't belong. And so when I recognized that I was making the same mistakes, I had to make a conscious choice. And so which way did I want to go? I think it's also helpful with spirit that the way that I work with them, and the way that they show me, like, whenever we cross over, whenever we die and we cross into the next, they show me, like, it's like a limited understanding of it, of course. You know, it's my limited physical human understanding of what they're trying to show me, but we get to watch a movie of our life, and we get to stand in for the other person that we had interactions with. And so sometimes that review of that story is fucking beautiful and gorgeous, and it talks about connection and love. Sometimes it's horrific, and it's just a trail of fucking tears we left behind us. But for most of us, it's going to be a combination of that. And so I think working through spirit has taught me, what kind of story are you telling with your life? What kind of story are you telling? What is your story? And are you here to hurt and harm? Or are you here to help and heal? And I don't know about you guys, but I want to help and heal. It's not, again, to say that I haven't hurt and harmed, but if I get a conscious choice around it, if I get to take my power back, and it means that I get to make a choice, then always, 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 I'm going to go with helping and healing. It's just how I feel. I want to do a little bit of color on the inner eye right there. So I'm going to get this Spirited here, that shimmery golden goodness from heaven. We're just going to pat it into the inner corner there. I'm going to take a little bit more of the Spirited. I'm going to put it right underneath the brow bone. And remember, guys, just blend it in. I just want like a little bit of color there. Just a little bit of highlight, because you guys know how much I fucking love highlighter. For the liner. Why can't I find anything? Why am I blind? Okay. Fucking Guy Fieri. All right. For the eyeliner on the top lid, I'm going to go a little bit dark today on that. I'm going to go with the Morphe eye pencil in Midnight. It's a nice smoky gray. I'm just going to line the top lid. And I just go along the, oh boy, and I just go along the lash line. Okay, let's just take it down. We're just gonna work with what we got. So I'm gonna go back over with a clean finger, and I'm gonna just smudge this over too. So I lost the video, and I didn't even realize, and I was just talking to myself without recording it for like 5 minutes, so that was fun. So, fucking Mercury retrograde, God. Jesus, put on your sandals, get down here, take the wheel. Okay, so I just lined my waterline. I use, and I always will until the infinity and beyond, the Master Precise Skinny Gel Pencil by Maybelline New York in Defining Black. Just make sure you do the upper and the lower. Just make sure. Okay. I'm gonna do mascara, and then it'll be excitement time. All right, so Always and Forever too. I love this mascara. I will probably never use another unless they stop making it, but it's by Maybelline New York as well, the Lash Sensational Luscious, and I got it in blackest black. This one's getting a little old though. I'm gonna have to get out my new one. And guys, with this stuff, it's really good once you get it. It's gonna be a little watery for the first week when you first open up a new pack. Give it about a week, and then it'll be gorgeousness. It's perfect. And just get the top and the bottom lashes. I like 84 layers of mascara, but just do what you're into. Whatever speaks to your sweet little soul. You're doing this work for yourself and you're in the midst of it. Can I also remind you that you're a fucking miracle? The fact that you're here, the fact that you're still living your life, the fact that you're still trying to make things happen and live your best life, and especially if you're choosing to be kind to others and not continue the same cycle that went on with your family, maybe with your own children or with the people around you, you are a fucking miracle. And thank you for saying yes to still being here and choosing a better way of doing things. I think it's important that we all hear that. Even if you haven't suffered trauma from your parents and you're just trying to fucking survive and understand what's the point of me being here. Because can I say too, when you have trauma with parents and it feels like you're not wanted by the parents, you're like, well then what's the point of me being here? What is the point? So I think it's important that I also speak about my feelings on suicide and that I did attempt it when I was 15 years old. I just didn't understand the point. If I'm not wanted and nobody wants to hear what I have to say, and there was also some major traumatic things that happened to me before that point as well. What's the point of life if I'm not wanted? What's the point of being here if the very people who brought me here, it feels as though they don't want me? So I think that's important to speak on that as well, and to recognize that, again, all of it was a choice and you're choosing to be here. I see you, and thank you for showing up. All right, don't forget the other eye. I mean, you could do one eye, but then it looks like a Clockwork Orange, and I don't know if anybody's seen that movie, but let's talk about trauma and passing it down. Let's not. Cool? All right. Sounds good. So like I said before, as you're going through this process, as you're saying yes to yourself and you're ready to heal, maybe with your parents, maybe without, be gentle with yourself. Kind with yourself. Challenge the voice in your head around your worthiness and what it's saying to you. Make sure it's your voice and maybe not a parent that was hard on you. There's so much self-awareness that goes into that work. So much self-awareness. And guys, people think like, oh, that's an easy process. It sounds like butterflies and rainbow farts. kitten glitter cannons. And it is very much not. To be consciously aware, to be present in the moment, for a lot of us is difficult. Because that also meant that we were also facing the trauma that was happening to us at the moment. A lot of us, we disassociate, or there's ways that we just kind of leave our body for a second. And so being here and present in the moment is a practice. It's a conscious choice. So maybe even too, the takeaway from this is that everything's a choice. What do you want it to look like? What kind of story are you telling with your life and with your interactions? Not only with other people, but with yourself. Know that that worthiness issue has a root. And so going to it and facing it and working through it and releasing it in the appropriate time for you, which is personal for everyone, is what's needed. And sometimes the only way to combat that difficulty and that pain, and maybe for a lot of us, I know I was one of them, was that we never received the compassion that we needed. I think a huge part of this is becoming the person that you needed when you were younger too. And so what does that person look like? What would they be doing for you? How would they treat you? How would they love on you? How are they talking to you? Get into that mindset and recognize that it has always been you. And what would you do for yourself? Now it's my favorite time. Highlighter time. I think you guys understand how much I love highlighter. Okay, even on the easy peasy makeup days, I'm like, highlighter. All right, so I'm using this palette again. This is the I Heart Revolution Peach and Glow. And I'm just using this side, the highlighter side. And I use it on this brush I always forget to tell you about, the Morphe brush, the R12 Morphe brush for doing highlighter. And then just get it everywhere the light hits. And maybe just do a lighter one today since we're doing lighter makeup. But fucking mix in highlighter with your foundation for all I care. Strobe it out, friend. Be a little disco ball of hotness. You know I'm not against it. Use one of my favorite lip glosses. It's one of my favorites. It's by Morphe again. It's one of their lip glosses and it's called Famous. It's just a nice neutral brown universal color. Looks good on fucking everybody. And then them lips. All right. Not too shabby. I've been in the pool, so my hair is kind of like gray and purple, but you guys dig it? You guys love it? Would you guys do this look? Nice light eyes for a day, nice chill colors. Also, my shirt says I'm Area 50 done with your bullshit. I love this t-shirt. I think I've worn it for a couple of videos now. So yes, I do own other t-shirts, but I fucking love this one, so there's that. Yeah, middle fingers for no, cacaw for yes. Let me know what you guys think. And remember, your worthiness, your issues around worthiness have roots. Go to the roots, face it, know that you can handle it, and that you can heal through anything. I see you, I believe in you. It's time that you believe in yourself. I love you guys. I'm gonna see you for the free weekly reading in just a couple of minutes. Talk to you guys soon. Love you. Bye.